Right, guys, a question. Would you ever consider voting for the Conservative Party? Now, before you shout no at the screen and shut down the video, friend of the channel Liz Webster, along with Ollie Fletcher and Nick Webb from the brilliantly named The Food Fighters podcast, raised the issue of the far right leaving the Conservative Party to reform and being left with moderates who should welcome the idea of rejoining the European Union. Have a listen to this.
I'd have more hope of, and I've never voted Conservative, but I'd have more hope of all of the far-right Tories leaving the Conservative Party for reform and them actually switching to rejoin, because that's how the Tories could get themselves back on the map and literally win the snakes and ladders race with the Lib Dems, because that would actually really boost their vote. I know loads of people that would vote Conservative if they came out strong for rejoin and had a Heseltine type message.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, if you look at the people that got culled during the Brexit arguments by Johnson, Anna Soubry, Dominic Grieve, there was some really decent politicians there, and there are some really decent Tories that have just been completely disowned by the party. I strongly agree. I really do think that there is, if the Tories, the sensible Tories came back into the fold and said, look, we're aware of this. We know that leaving the EU was a disaster, and we're going to take us back in. I think they would pick up a huge amount of support, and it would be one thing. I might even vote Tory if they said they were going to rejoin the EU. I liked a lot of those guys: Ken Clarke, Anna Soubry, Dominic Grieve. Really, really decent human beings that you would trust with running our country, and you would think would be responsible decision makers. Hopefully, I'd like to see that. I would.
Very interesting response there. So do you agree with Nick Webb here, where if the Conservatives saw the far right of the party go to reform and they were left with a sort of moderate wing, do you think they could be somebody you could support? Would you vote for them? Now, I think the idea of bringing people like Dominic Grieve and Anna Soubry back into the party, that's not going to happen. I think it's more likely, and of course this is a long shot, but I think it's more likely that the Conservatives would welcome in younger people or new people who would be more moderate. I think what's going to happen after Kemi Badenoch leaves, there's a chance that somebody more moderate could take over. Now, it's also possible they try and chase Farage even more with Robert Jenrick in charge. So I think if they do that, you're going to see more people join Reform, and you're going to see people abandon the Conservative Party because they see it as just a wing of Reform. So if the Conservatives did actually come back to the centre and they did support an idea of rejoining the European Union, would you vote for them? This is a question to people watching this. Would you vote for a Conservative Party over the Labour Party or over the Greens or over the Liberal Democrats if they put front and centre the idea of rejoining the European Union? Now, once again, I think that's a long shot. I don't think that's going to happen, at least in the short and medium term. But it is a possibility. It makes sense from a political point of view to have a vision. The Conservatives don't have a vision at the moment. They're saying, we're not the Labour Party. Like the Labour Party said, we're not the Tories last year. So at the moment, Kemi Badenoch doesn't have a vision. So I think what needs to happen is she needs to be removed, replaced with somebody more moderate. And this person says, our vision is to return to traditional Tory values, or we want to return to a more moderate party, which was more pro-European. We want to rejoin the European Union. We want to have a better relationship with Europe. There's nothing they can lose by doing something like that. That's one way of putting it. I don't know if it would convince people who voted for Labour before, or people who are considering voting for the Liberal Democrats, to come back to the Tories or vote for the Tories for the first time. But in some cases, as Nick Webb has pointed out here, it would convince him, maybe. He would like to see the Conservative Party move to the centre, move to a more pro-European stance. So it's possible that this could happen. It depends on who the leader is. It depends on what the members want. So I think if we're going to see new people join the Conservative Party, it would have to be more moderate members. If it's people who want to move the Conservative Party to the right, then it makes more sense for those individuals to join Reform. But it also depends on what happens to Reform going forward. If Reform run out of steam, there's a possibility that Conservatives will switch back to the Conservative Party. but it depends also on who's in charge at the time. So there are a number of different factors. But the question still remains, would you ever consider voting for the Conservative Party? Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.